Sri Arun Khoteji for today's lecture. And before that, a very short introduction about him. Arun Khoteji is a journalist, a writer, and human rights activist. Especially, he works for marginalized communities, particularly Dalits. He is executive editor of Justice News, a platform focused on reporting atrocities against scheduled caste and other marginalized groups. Arun Khoteji also associated with the PMARC, that is People's Media Advocacy and Resource Center, as chief executive. His work include advocating for Dalit rights and using digital platform to highlight issues often overlooked by mainstream media, such as caste-based discrimination and violence. He is based here in Lucknow. Also, he is a known figure of a civil society group in Lucknow. Very often he is seen in all the, mostly he is seen in all the social events in the Lucknow. Since he is a writer, social activist, and journalist. So I think none other than him is a knowledgeable person about the freedom of speech. So I invite him today to give his views on freedom of speech, Mr. Arun Khoteji.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for giving me a very good introduction about me. And I do thanks to CDR and others to coming here to listen me. Though I do not have that kind of academic background, which can go through and give the details of various sections and the various provisions of the Constitution. But since from long I am in the field of human rights, and we have a very vast experience of in term of freedom of expression and freedom of speech. Fortunately or unfortunately, the time when I'm sharing with you about the freedom of speech and freedom of expression, it is a very high time when this particular right is on stake. If the freedom of speech and freedom of expression will not preserve, then we can't claim that we are in an era of democracy. Democracy could be protected or visible only when the freedom of expression and freedom of speech could be protected. That must test. If I could speak freely on my observation basis on my analysis about the various issues of the government or the system, then I could say I am living in a democratic country. Fortunately, unfortunately, the situation is different. But when we are talking about the freedom, any form of freedom, whether it is a freedom of speech or freedom of expression, we must think the basis of all these freedoms. That is coming from the circle of rights. The circle of right means which is covering so many areas from human rights, community engagement, specific programs, and various other elements which are basically to protect all those rights. We have our fathers have designed constitution, and they have placed various rights with us. In the same time, there are certain restrictions to make the things possible or on right track. Means that the freedom of expression or the freedom of speech should not be misused. So there are restrictions. Also, in time to time, in a various time, we have seen that our judiciary has given observations and orders and given a new angles to our freedom of speech and future freedom of expression. So I have a two-way to talk about the reservation. Freedom of expression or freedom of speech. But before going on, I'll give you two examples. In year 1986, there was a case happened in Kerala, which is a very good example of related to expression, freedom of expression. In the Kerala, in a school, there is a national anthem was sang, and a small group of students refused to sing the national anthem, and they stood very calmly with full of the respect, but they refused to sing a national anthem, and it's become a big issue. And when school management raise a question before their parents, then the response of the parents that that is a particular community from they believe on a particular sect, and according to that sect, they can worship only one, which is their God. So after that, they don't worship anything. So they don't worship the national anthem. And ultimately, this case has gone to the court. And in year 1986, the Kerala High Court has resolved, given an order that they are right. They have all right to express their feeling and take decision accordingly. So if they have not ready to sing a national anthem, then it is not a violation of any law. Why so? Because with they did not disrespect the national anthem. They did not ignore the national anthem. They stood very calmly, very respectfully, and joined the group. But they didn't sing. So that is their right to choice, right of their expression. So this is one. And if you'll go to the another example of violation, during the emergency, when government imposed emergency, government also imposed through the emergency, government imposed censorship. Censor the censorship Because of the censorship, people have suffered a lot. They have been victimized a lot because there was only one way communication, means whatever the government wanted to send before the people through the various available medium on those time, that only reached to the people. And because of that, various level of atrocities happened with the people, various level of violations happened with the people, but people have no place to express their own opinion or their feeling or their suffering. So in a one way, when freedom of expression or the speech has been violated, the people have suffered such kind of suffering. So we must look into that while we are talking about the democracy. Democracy does not have its own shape, but it is developed in a way where various level of rights has been placed, and our freedom of expression and freedom of speech are one tool. You just see in an era when we are living, in which we are living nowadays, I personally, in a number of times, wanted to share certain my views or opinion to the various social media, but I scare. When I scare means I do not have that label of freedom of expression, which is really designed and included into the constitution. Under the constitution, Article 19(1)(a) has ensured number of expressions along with restrictions. While we are talking about the restrictions, it's a very clearly, and one can define it very nicely, what kind of restrictions, and it is well justified. Like sovereignty and integrity of the India, we should not uh, speak or express anything against the sovereignty of the country and integrity of the country, security of the state, public violating any public order. If government has released any kind of public order, one have to follow that. That is a compulsion, whether you like it or do not like it. But one have to follow that. The second, friendly relation with foreign states. We have often friendly relations with different countries, and our national policy and you can say foreign affair policy. According to foreign affairs policy, government is taking decision. We do not have right to oppose or view against anything. We may have our opinion. Decency of morality. So our constitution has been built up in a way where number of values and moralities are inculcated, and we sometimes it is not very clearly visible, but it is well placed, and one has to be cautious about that. So it is very clearly written there. And then defamation, like if we will criticize the any of the judiciary order, that is coming under the defamation. So that is also restricted. We do not have right to criticize the any court's order, particular the Supreme Court or the High Courts. Incitement of an offense, किसी uh, to provoke any to provoke a people for any kind of offense, that is also restricted. Contempt of the court, that is what I already described. So these are the restrictions imposed on us while we are using our right for the freedom of expression and speech. So these are a very technical kind of thing, and classical way, in a classical way, placed in our constitution. But what exactly, how it is being internalized, that is a very big question. Friends, when we are talking about the in this series, when we are very seriously talking about the constitution, one point I am always thinking that do our people really know very clearly the constitution? What is the problem that we people are still not internalize the constitution on that way, which can strengthen us and strengthen our approaches. And it is that is why, since probably if you can see the when this whole constitution has been is by, uh, talked in a very huge level only from the 2016. Before 2016, there are only sections like Dalits and OBCs and tribals. Particular Dalits were very much talking about the constitution. Even these are the only community, the only Dalits were celebrating 26th November as a Constitution Day. So still, when we are talking about the constitution, I'm very sometimes surprising that even our the constitution has not been that way utilized, because most of us are not very much gone through to the constitution, and that is why we still uh, struggling about particular our right to expression and right to speech. हमको क्या बोलना है या हमको कैसे अपनी बात को रखना है, हम अभी भी इसमें बहुत स्पष्टता नहीं रख पाते. And nowadays, since last one decade, it has become a so tough. It has become a very hard to share anything, even though it is very much in the frame of constitution. And some way the government is not that way very much supporting to the people. So these are the certain things which I have shared. And freedom of expression majorly related to the media and press. And after the social media introduced in the country and widely used by the people, so it has become more important than how to keep our freedom of expression and freedom of speech within the while using our social media, while we are carrying out our campaigns, carrying out our movements. How to maintain it, that is the biggest challenge is now before all of us. So this is certain things which I'm really ready to wish. The second, I'm on though I used to speak in kind of speeches like that, and as I for the initial stage itself, I clarified two things. The one, I have not, I was, and I excuse for that also because of the certain compulsion. I have gone for operation of my younger daughter, and I was busy for so many other things, and it was a very last time notice to me that you have to come and speak. So I don't keep myself as a speaker here, though I'm here to initiate a talk and discussion. So many of you may have so many ideas about the constitution, and you may have to share that also. So so I think so. I should stop here, and I request to the moderator to add if he wanted to add anything on this issue.
Thank you, Arunji. Uh, you have brought out the subject beautifully, and in brevity. Brevity means in brief, and that brief could be understood by, at least if I have understood, then I think everybody can understand. In today's scenario in India, there is the government and a certain class of people, they have made a very thin difference between the freedom of speech and expression and the restrictions which are given in the constitution. Every day we are hearing that somebody has said something on a platform, then somebody lodges an FIR, and few people lodge FIR from different places where they say he so and so has defamed so and so. So the difference between freedom of speech and the restrictions has narrowed down today, or it is being done intentionally. So that difference, I request if Arun Koteji can throw some light on that difference. The recent example is from UP, that folk singer Neha Singh Rathore and the satirist Dr. Madri Kauti, her name is Dr. Medusa on social platforms. So please throw some light where we can understand the thin difference between the restrictions imposed on freedom of speech and the freedom of speech itself.
There is a joke is roaming across the social media. Uh, uh, yeah, I don't think whether it is really good to share that or not. But look, as I said, freedom of expression and freedom of speech is very much linked with the democracy. And without these two tools, one cannot assume even the democracy. And and that's why the constitution is very much important. After the, you just imagine we are celebrating 75th year of the constitution, but it has been really broadly talked only after 2016 when the first incident of JNU happened. So one can imagine, before that we never thought of about the constitutional right or so. Even the number of activists who are claiming who are fighting for the rights, but still because of the less understanding of constitution, and that there is during our whole studies and the education process, there is no space for the detailed discussion of the constitution. So internalization of the constitution itself is a very tough job. When I have gone through the constitution, even I struggled with that to understand. But then I got a one clue. I have gone through the discussion of the Constituent Assembly, because it is a very clear. Once you go through the discussion of the Constituent Assembly, which is available in all languages. So once you understand that, then only you can internalize all the different articles and how they define that rights. That is a very classical kind of thing. So when I have gone through the Constituent Assembly discussions, then after when I took Constitution, that really helped me a lot. So this is there. The second, as I said, we that each and everything is monitored days now, and in such circumstances you tell me how I can take up the current situation in this platform. I fear, and that is where I am telling that my rights of expression are being curtailed. My whole vocabulary curtailed down to the 25 only. You just 25%. You just imagine that if you see from last 1 month, how many YouTube channel has been shut down. Even my own Justice News, which I was running from last 15 years, has been shut down. It has happened it is 1.5 months, and we struggled a lot, but we are still not able to recover that. So, how we will talk about the freedom of expression? Look, Dr. Ambedkar said one very important thing, that it is not important that how much our constitution is strong. It's completely depend to the people, the wish of the people who will going to execute it. If the will of the people who are going to execute the constitution, if will of those people are strong, then definitely people will get benefit of the constitution. If the will of the people are weak or biased or gray, then whatever the strong our constitution, that does not really helpful for the people. So, and this is the same happening here now. In a current regime, what we are experiencing, that a new form means they are the constitution is being defined in a different way. Earlier, whatever our forefathers through various discussion and they have gone through the constitution of the world, and they have collected very good things from all of them, and they collaborated that and they developed the constitution. But now we are seeing that the new definition of the constitution is coming up, which is very much fundamentalist in terms of communal and fundamental. So we have a constitution. We are people who are really very much strongly stand for the constitution, but really there are threat to the our this constitution, because there are section of the people who are defining this in a different way. So these all are the challenges. And again, while in a such situation, how you will talk about the freedom of expression, how you will talk about the freedom of speech when these all are already curtailed. So it's a very tough to talk, because from where you will pick the examples, from where you will elaborate that constitutional rights. Definitely the examples which are surrounded before us happening in the country, but that is also a threat. If we will place that in such a platform, then it may be problematic sometime. So let's take it forward. Yes.
So, gentlemen, now it is open to ask questions from and Arun Koteji will be able to answer all your queries.
Arunji,
Yes, sir.
the generally nowadays you are speaking about freedom of expression is related to press and media and paper, electronic, whatever.
Even individual.
Is it totally true, or it could be related to the general people freedom of expression, and what is the difference between
No, no, no,
people
no.
freedom of expression and media freedom of expression?
When it matters concern to the mass communication, then it is the press and media. But basically, when I'm talking about the freedom of expression and freedom of speech, it is very much for the individual. It is very much for the each person of the country, because when you will end up or the source of information, then what people will express and what people will speak. If I do not have information, then and I have a pressure that not to approach to the information, then definitely I can't express my things, whatever is my mind. The Constitution is giving freedom for the opinion. Constitution is giving opinion to even rejection. Constitution is giving right to speak. Constitution is giving a right to write even. But while when people are scaring and people are just hiding to express their views or sharing their views, that means at some point there are restrictions which are violation of the freedom of expression and speech.
Thank you.
Even right to privacy, that is one of the rights which is coming under the same domain.
Okay, thank you, Arun.
Anybody,
Thank you.
Thank
anybody
you.
else? So you can use this platform to express and speak freely. You may ask questions.
दिनेश चंद्र जी, आपका वॉइस स्लो है.
स्लो है, एक मिनट.
वो जब हमें धमकाते हैं तब बहुत जोर से बोल लेते हैं.
Now, can you hear now?
नहीं, I am
Yes, I am
hearing. We
listening.
are hearing, but is a very
Voice is slow.
low voice.
No one.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Sir,
So I
anybody
said,
have a questions? Please ask
you
the
can use
Arun.
this Article 19 to ask any question. You are free to speak and express.
Nah. I think
Can
nobody
I
is
continue,
there.
sir?
Can I ask you a question, sir?
Please,
Yes, of course.
please.
Okay, what is the difference between freedom of speech and hate speech? How can I differentiate?
Look, any form of hate basically targeting someone particular, and that is violating the right of that particular. When someone is violating the rights of anyone, that is ultimately the form of that form may be abuse, that form may be hate. I'm giving hate speech, then I'm targeting to particular person or community, and that is the violation of the rights of that particular community of the person. So that is coming under the restrictions. So whenever we are talking, we need to keep the rights of others also. Look like criminal laws. Criminal laws are criminal justice system, CPR. That is the criminal justice system. Means the constitution has very clearly said even the 10 criminals you can leave 10 criminals, but you can't punish a one innocent. So even the criminals have also accused have also have the same kind of protection available which is to any other common man. So this is very clear. Hate speech, it's a very clear where hate speech itself means targeting some particular person with a dubious attitude or approach. So
Anyone?
No one. Today our engineer Saab is not there.
So,
Sir, I am very much here. I am happy to listen your this very fruitful and impressive lecture. And really, you have left no question to us today because you have elaborated and vividly clear the situation of freedom of speech and expression. Really, I am thankful to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
सर इस कोई नहीं रहे तो हम कंक्लूड करेंगे.
Conclude कर दीजिए.
थैंक यू अरुण जी, थैंक यू वेरी मच दिनेश चंद्र जी. आई थिंक दिनेश चंद्र जी आप बताने के कुछ है क्या?
नहीं, मैं इनको बस अरुण जी को धन्यवाद करता हूँ बड़े जोश के
ओके
साथ, और बहुत शॉर्ट में इन्होंने अपनी बात कही, और काफी हमारे लिए आज के टाइम पर इट इज रेलिवेंट in such kind of scenario where somebody says something and it hurts somebody's feeling. So आज आस्था एंड फीलिंग्स बहुत जल्दी हर्ट हो रही हैं. ये केवल हम लोग हैं जिनकी फीलिंग्स और आस्था बहुत स्ट्रांग है, जो इतनी जल्दी हर्ट नहीं होती है. We are amongst those few people, those who are really strong. Rest, you say anything, you speak out against, you suggest something, some corrective action to the government, and government की feelings और government की आस्था hurt हो जाती है. So we have to be very careful. Yes, we have to be very careful, and especially those who are known journalists and writers. Otherwise, we have to face consequences.
Already facing.
Yes, and everything. Now, like he said, the constitution is being redefined as per somebody's wish and will. All articles of the constitution are being redefined. The whole aspect of the directive principles of state policy are being distorted. So in such kind of scenario, most of us and must know the constitution, must study the constitution, so that these kinds of we are in a position to fight out the such FIRs and the social media pressures where they say कि हमारी आस्था हर्ट हो गई, हमारी फीलिंग्स हर्ट हो गई, और देशद्रोह हो गया, सेडिशन हो गया. So I conclude my this letter part with the suggestion to all of us: please study the Constitution of India so that we become more stronger to face the challenges in the coming future. Thank you very much.
My humble submission to everybody. मैं सबसे एक बात कहना चाहता हूँ कि अगर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को समझना है ठीक से और उसे इंटरनलाइज करना है, तो आप सबको कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली की जो डिबेट है उनको जरूर पढ़ना होगा. और जब उसको आप उठा के पढ़ेंगे तो आपके सामने जैसे लिखे हुए नाटक होते हैं, प्ले लिखा हुआ होता है, उस पर जिस तरह से पढ़ा जाता है, आप बिल्कुल उस तरह से पढ़ेंगे तो एक एक राइट्स बहुत आसानी से इंटरनलाइज होगा. उसके बाद जब आप कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन पढ़ेंगे तो वो बहुत बेहतर ढंग से समझ में आएगा. मैंने खुद ये एक्सपेरिमेंट किया है और मैं अक्सर अपने साथियों को ये सजेस्ट भी करता हूं, और कई साथियों ने मेरी बात से सहमति व्यक्त की है. तो आप सभी को बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for all participants and speaker, my friend Arun, and moderator, our elder, our well-wisher, Captain
Dinesh
Dinesh
ji.
Chandra ji, and all whoever attended this lecture. Thank you very much. Thank you to all. Thank you.
Good night, Jai Bhim.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Jai Bhim.
Thank you to all. Jai Bhim.
Jai Bhim. Jai Bhim, sir.